Today we are talking about potentially the main character of From, which is Victor. One of the most interesting characters I've ever seen in any TV show ever, because he knows so much but has told us so little, and he has also showed us so much but never directly showed us anything at all. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into him and how he could potentially be the key to escaping all of this, and the theories surrounding this character, the hints that we've seen in previous episodes and most recent episodes as well. If you guys have not seen From, go find it on MGM, Prime, wherever you can find it. Look up where you can watch it, because I promise you it will be worth it. And if you guys are new here, or you're just stopping by, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and without further ado, let's dive into Victor. Potentially my favorite character, definitely one of the best actors in the show, and just the most interesting storyline by far. So let's get into it. So in the most recent episode, we saw Victor go and dig up something very important, and that something was a suitcase, and we'll get to that later on. But when he was going to dig this suitcase up, he had his little notepad out here, and it was a path to X marks the spot, which I thought was very interesting. But also, I mean, look at the path. It isn't some normal path. He obviously lined it up with the trees, going to this tree, and then you just go take a left and it'll be right in front of this tree. He obviously has everything very planned out. He's a very meticulous person and so interesting of a character. I'm so obsessed with Victor's character and his storyline. I'm making this video because I think he is the key to escaping from Bill. I think this could all potentially be surrounding Victor in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I thought this was very interesting what they showed in season 3, episode 3, where he had this little map, and This is probably not the only thing that he has buried in From Bill, I would assume. If he's been there for 40, 50, 30 years, or whatever, it's been multiple decades, I would assume this is not the only treasure map Victor has on this little notepad, so that's something to keep in mind for future episodes. And then we, of course, see him go to Sarah, which is very interesting. He picks this particular character. I don't know why. I haven't really pinpointed that yet, but I'm assuming it has some sort of significance. But he goes to Sarah's house, and he says, "Do you have a bedspread?" And she says, "Yes, of course, I have bedspreads." And he says, "Well, I need them to build a fort and tell a story." He's going to finally talk, people. I don't think we realize how big of a deal this is, considering how much this character knows, okay? Victor knows so much about the island, so much that we don't know, that he hasn't told us, but he does know, and we all know he knows, and he's finally opening up, finally talking, and I think this could potentially get ruined. I think him opening up and finally talking could get ruined by his father appearing. His father will probably bring up a lot of trauma, a lot of bad memories. Henry has a lot of regrets as a father, so Victor might run away, and I think his original plan, of him telling the story, could be of him running away in the first place, explaining to Sarah why I have to go. I think it could be that because of what's happening on the island. I think this story could be a story about why he has to go, and I think Henry arriving in the town could potentially speed that process up of him having to go. He's just gonna go. He's not gonna think about it. He's gonna go. That is sort of my theory right now. I'm not sticking to it, but I'm just bringing it up in the air. I think this suitcase might have something to do with him having to leave and go do something. Obviously, I don't know what that is, but this is a massive deal. Victor knows a lot. Victor's shown us a lot through his drawings, not through his, talking at all, but he has foreshadowed some stuff that's happened in the show. In one particular example, if I can't find the picture, I'll just paint the picture in your mind. He painted or drew a picture with a house, a couple trees on the side, and then a number on top that said 1597. These same numbers on his dad's house. Obviously, that's a foreshadow saying Tabitha's eventually going to go there, blah, 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 blah. But his drawings have said a lot. And this suitcase is probably filled with a lot more drawings and some other stuff that we probably don't even know about. So I'm telling you, Victor's storyline's about to pick up. I think that's what Tabitha was referring to. Tabitha's actor. I forget her name. But on Instagram story, she said her favorite episode is season 3, episode 4, and she's really, really excited for us to see it. I think that could be part of what she was referring to. We got to finally learn more about this this interesting character, this interesting storyline in Victor. And I'm so excited for it. So my theory about Victor. I think obviously he has a lot to do with the island. I think he could potentially be leaving right now to go on sort of a side mission of his own. But there's so many theories surrounding this character because of what we've seen with Victor's character. He's known the boy in white, or has seen the boy in white consistently for 40 years, or however many decades he's been there, ever since he was a little boy. And he particularly has targeted Tabitha and Tabitha and Ethan to get close with which is also something to take note. You know, he took Tabitha in the tunnels. He tried to take Ethan on little side missions. Like he's targeted certain people. Now he's going over to Sarah's house, and he's known this boy in white for so long that there's so many theories about Victor. The one theory is that people think Fromville is a figment of Victor's imagination, and he created it in his mind. And we're watching this in the point of view of Victor's mind, which is insane. I don't think I'd want that to happen. I don't want this to be a false fantasy, whatever. I want this to be reality, supernatural, spiritual, whatever it is. I want it to be reality. I don't want it to be a dream or a figment of imagination. I don't want it to be like a different show that these writers have wrote. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil it, but those who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So yes, I don't want to be like that, but that's a theory that people think this is a figment of Victor's imagination. Other people think that Victor is actually evil, which is insane to think about. He doesn't seem like an evil person at all, but you know, he also hasn't really told us anything, and he's going to soon, so I'm really excited about that. But people think that Victor is the mastermind behind Fromville. He designed it to see how humans would react, and that's why he's been alive this entire time. Now, that theory doesn't really make any sense because when Victor talks about Fromville, he references like, yeah, when I got here, this happened, or you know, when we arrived, this was it, like this, blah blah blah. He talks about it as if, you know, it was already there. He didn't, you know, obviously he didn't create it, in my opinion. I don't think he created it, but those are two pretty drastic theories that are floating around there. So that just tells you what the people of, you know, the fans of From actually think about this character. I'm just scrolling through Reddit here to get more points about Victor, and I saw another theory about how this is an imagination of Victor's, and it says, I really think that Fromville is nothing but a creation of Victor's imagination. Whatever Victor drew as a child suddenly came to life one day, and only Victor can end this by imagining and drawing a way to end this nightmare. So there's so many theories with that direction that, you know, who knows? I don't think that's true because there's been other signs that this is a spiritual sort of supernatural thing like the tarot cards. When I say that Victor hasn't told us as much as he knows, I'm not just talking about the drawings. Obviously, Victor has a hard time expressing himself. That's very clear. They make that very clear in the show throughout the storyline and portraying of the character. He expresses himself through drawings, but he also knows a lot about the tree system. Now, we don't know how this tree system works, the faraway trees, the tunnels, the caves, all this stuff. Victor knows everything about it. Victor has most probably explored this entire land. I keep calling it an island. People are like, it's not an island. Then what is it? We don't know what it is. So I'm gonna keep referring it as if it's an island because it seems like an island. You can't really go that far in it, so it seems like some sort of island. He probably knows every square inch of this island. He knows about the tree system, the faraway trees, the cave system, probably the people that are down there. Who even knows what Victor knows about the monsters, people? And this is what my theory has brought me to, the conclusion. Boyd said he wants to catch one of these monsters. Now, whenever that happened, whenever that storyline started taking place, when Boyd said, yeah, I want to catch one of these monsters, see what they have to say, Victor dug up the suitcase. Like, it seemed like Victor started acting in a different way as soon as Boyd brought up that storyline of him wanting to catch one of these monsters. I seriously think Victor's planning something as not escaping Fromville, but just going somewhere and getting away. And that's why he's telling Sarah a story. I think there's a possibility, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I do think there's a huge possibility that Victor has seen everything that's already happened right now. Or everything that's going to happen, Victor's already seen. I think that's definitely a possibility that Fromville is not really a loop, but you know, it's maybe it's like a pattern. There's so many patterns, and Victor's seen them so many different times. Because think about it, we think Boyd knows a lot about the island, and Boyd knows how to survive, and this, that, and the other, the talisman. Boyd has only been there for a year and a half, guys. Year and a half. Victor's been there potentially 20 to 25 times longer than that. You know, around there, like 15 times longer than that, which is insane to think about. A big thing we need to keep in mind when talking about Victor and watching Victor in this show is that most people on this island, if not everyone, views Victor as this unhinged, crazy person who carries the same lunchbox, marks maps of trees, and blah, 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 blah. We view him as this meticulous person who can't really express himself in certain ways and knows so much because he's seen so much stuff. He's been there, and we view him. I view him as a very smart individual, and you know, but them on the island do not view him as that. At least it doesn't seem like that. People like, you know, treat him like sort of like a kid, like they baby him and just think he's sort of not on their level of smartness, which I think is so far beyond not true. I think that Victor knows more than anybody who's on the island right now. Another thing that makes this character so interesting is we don't know how long Victor was alone in Fromville, okay? So obviously he was there with people in the beginning, and then he walked up or wherever he was when he was a kid and seen people dead, and then seen the boy in white, whatever. But Donna and Father Contry, they weren't there for 25 years, you know, probably like they've been there for 3 to 4 years. Donna's been there for like 3 to 4 years, and then Boyd's been there for a year and a half. So there's a possibility that Victor was alone at stints for at least 5 to 10 years, maybe 20 years. We have no clue. They haven't told us. But if he was alone for that long, who knows what happened to him? How did he survive? He didn't have talismans. He didn't, have anything to defend himself. Did he just hide the whole time? Or was he just learning so much about this island, learning how to survive, and that's why he's never been attacked or even been threatened at all, or ever been in a threatening situation? Like, does he know something about this island? He just hasn't told anybody because he doesn't trust anyone. And he's definitely received a lot of help from the boy in white, and that's why he values the boy in white a lot, because that was the one person who was standing there when Victor was a kid, and he's probably been friends with him for 30 years. So who knows how much the boy in white has told them about this island, where Victor has gone with the boy in white, etc., etc. And I know I'm sort of stating the obvious, but I just want to bring up all these points so you guys can view them all at once and be like, wow, this character actually has a lot to do with the current storyline. Also, the descriptions of each of these episodes has had a lot of impact on, predicting these episodes' storylines. And the description for season 3, episode 4 is exactly this. Boyd is forced to make a tough decision when newcomers arrive in town at nightfall. That's probably him not having to get the monster because Tabitha and Henry arrived or something like that, or getting the monster, despite them arriving. And then the next thing it says, Victor unearths memories from the past in the hopes of finding answers, which tells me Victor's showing Sarah stuff, and Sarah's gonna be like, oh wow, those are the answers we've been looking for. So to sum this video up, I believe Victor is a much more complex person than the people in Fromville view him as. I think they don't respect him. I think they think that he's just a weird guy who doesn't really know much and has just been there for a long time. And I think all of us as fans can agree that this guy knows a lot that we want to know, and I think we're going to see a lot of those answers unfold here throughout season 3. Let me know your theories about Victor. That's the main thing I want to know. Obviously, I'm just making this video and trying to go over every single point that I can think of, and I'm going to be forgetting stuff and things that have happened throughout the show. About Tabitha being his sister, I don't think that's the case. About Tilly being his mom, I don't think that's the case. I didn't talk about certain things because I just simply don't think they're possible and don't think it makes sense. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Victor. Obviously, I think he's a massive character. Obviously, I think he has a massive impact on the storyline. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I want to hear your theories. I want to hear your criticisms, your thoughts, your concerns, all that stuff. And I can't wait to continue making content on this show, people. I appreciate all the love and support. And I will see you most probably after or on Sunday sometime when I make a video about from season 3, episode 4. I cannot wait. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Join my Discord if you want to talk more with me. You can find that in the description. And drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.